if you look at UNH and the news that has driven this stock to look like it does today, and for the Dow, for that matter, to look like it does, is because Berkshire Hathaway has been buying and revealed that they have a position in UnitedHealth. The stock has obviously not traded well over the last 6 months plus. Appaloosa, according to the filings, has bought more of that. Michael Burry Scion bought that as well, with the disclosure, of course, too, that these are backward-looking sometimes. But the Berkshire thing feels like it's significant. You need only really listen to Stepanie Link. Can you hang on a second, please? That's great. I'll get to you in a minute. But I want to bring in Stepanie Link because she has really been the biggest proponent of this name. And she's come on this program on numerous occasions and said she was buying it and why she believed it. What do you make of this news, Steph?
Hey, Scott. Well, it's encouraging that several investors see value. That was one of the reasons I initially bought shares, and it was higher for sure, so it's been kind of painful. But when you're trading at about 11 times EBITDA versus 14 times historical average, or 17 times earnings versus 23 historical average, for the #1 managed care company in the industry, that has definitely had a few stumbles, there's no question. But they have 52 million members. They have size, they have scale. And even with their earnings problems and their margin problems, last quarter they were able to grow 13%. And then, of course, I am a big proponent of good CEOs, excellent CEOs. And they have a returning CEO, Steve Hemsley, who built Optum, the franchise, from 2006 to 2017. And when he was at the company and what he did, the stock actually rallied 346% under his leadership. And oh, by the way, when he rejoined, he immediately bought 25 million shares, and he has a total of 300 million shares. That's confidence in my mind. He brought in a new CFO. He made changes to leadership at UnitedHealth, in Optum, and I think he kitchen sinked the quarter. Now, all this said, this is still a 2026 and 2027 story, so you're going to have patience because they have to reprice their Medicare Advantage business. They will, and it will help, and they're going to they'll figure out utilization because they've been really high, and that's hurt them too. It'll eventually work. But it may not work between now and the end of the year, but I love that I have the support along the way. And if on any weakness, as people realize this is a longer-term story, if there's any weakness associated with that, I will be buying more, for sure.
Okay. Josh, what point did you want to make?
2 points. A lot of people who are really excited about UNH today were equally excited at 600, 550, 500, 450. I think what we saw Buffett do or Berkshire do is important insofar as it probably puts an end to the credibility problem here. And I agree with Stepanie on the CEO's return being important as well. But the part I disagree with, all of the excitement around the name, it's $1.6 billion of a Berkshire Hathaway equity portfolio that's $300 billion. It's not even half of 1%. You tell me a quarter from now, hey, look, the stock started rallying and Berkshire kept buying, maybe I'm a little bit more interested. But this is a rounding error for Berkshire relative to the rest of its stocks and relative to Berkshire's overall market cap. It's almost not noticeable. So that to me is not the thing. The real thing is that they're expected to grow earnings by 10% next year. This year, earnings fell off a cliff, down 41%.
Sure.
Probably doesn't get worse from here.
That's all fine and good. I hear you. It makes sense. The context is important. But they're not in the business of buying what they think are going to be ongoing dumpster fires. And, Rob Sechin, you're here. You own the stock, too.
It trimmed it significantly in 23. Definitely more interesting when Steph and I think Steve.
Yeah, Weiss has been buying.
Probably bought it
at times.
This is really notable. Of the top 20 institutional holders, almost half are notable value investors, are willing to accept a lot of volatility and take a lot more risk. That means something, including Buffett with a long-term view. The valuation today is at 18 times. It's a discount to its peers and its long-term average. I don't think we're sellers yet. It's still a show-me story. Small position doesn't mean we're going to hold a small position because we hate it. We think there's opportunity in this name, and I think it pays to be cautiously optimistic. And if you're a long-term investor, you can ride along these guys, and you might want some proof points along the way, but I think you're probably going to see them.
I mean, Steph, I'll give you the last word before I let you run. You're not afraid to look at something that, frankly, looks like a dumpster fire, acts like a dumpster fire, and at certain times is. But if you believe there's a turnaround here, and if you believe these other well-known investors think that maybe the worst is behind this name, then you take a shot on perceived value, right?
For sure. Well, I think that Hemsley absolutely kitchen sinked this year's earnings. This year's earnings doesn't even matter. It's $16. But think about it. At the beginning of the year, with the old CEO, he was guiding 29 to $30. So that's a huge, huge change. Obviously, it was not run well. This guy, this new CEO, is going to fix it, and he has the management team to do so. And whenever I get a chance, and you know this by now, this is the way I invest, whenever you get a chance to own the #1 company in any given industry that's down 39% year to date, that has management change, but also has a very, very strong franchise. I mentioned 52 million members. They have size and scale, and Optum is a growth business for this company. They're going to get back to it. It's just going to take time.
Steph, thank you.
Thanks,
it's great
Scott.
to have you join us. Thought of you immediately, of course. We'll talk to you soon. In fact, I'll see you on Closing Bell later today. Stepanie Link will join us as we have the summit between the presidents Trump and Putin, of course, and we track the last hour of trade here.